Hey chatters, make sure to like, comment, follow, and subscribe, and follow me on Facebook at Chatty Cathy. Let's get into it. Tamar Braxton, victim or villain?
Cheers, get your life.
You make it so hard. Love you. You make it so hard.
Woo, that was deep. So you know what I found interesting? While I'm looking into all of Tamar Braxton's public spats, I stumbled upon the fact that she was married years ago. I had no clue, but keep in mind, I did not know Tamar Braxton prior to the Braxton family values. Others do, I did not. So I was shocked to learn that she had a brief marriage for 2 years to a producer by the name of Daryl Delete. Now, he's very private, so I didn't want to go meddling too much, but that was a messy divorce from what it seemed. There were some abuse allegations, and I'll say allegations because I never put something so serious on someone I didn't personally witness. There's no proof, so alleged. Tamar alleged he abused her. Then there was alleged that he was a deadbeat dad, so much so that it caused the sister to speak up publicly about that. So I don't know what took place there, but it was just really ironic that while I'm looking into her messy public disputes, that I found that she had one even before all of this mess recently started. So it just seems like every other month there's something with Tamar. So if you don't know, Toni Braxton is the big sister of Tamar Braxton. Now, Toni is an icon in her right. I am a fan because, honey, let me tell you how many ways from that first CD I still sing. I sing it loud. In my mind, I sound like her. In my mind, I'm going to continue to sound like her when I start counting and singing how many ways. 1, 2. You see what I'm saying? So that's what we're not going to do, is tell me that I don't. So one thing about Toni, she crossed over. And she's always had like this air of class, you know, up there with like Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston before Whitney showed us her Brick City side. But trust me, I am so here for it. We will not do any Whitney slander. But Toni has always had this appeal of class, sex appeal, and then crossover. She's global. Let's just give it to her. Despite her bankruptcies or whatever, that does not negate the fact that Toni Braxton has hit us with hits year after year and is still relevant to this day. I was shocked to see her family dynamic when it came to the Braxton family values, because that's not what I kind of would have thought. But, you know, we don't know these people. We know what they portray. We know what they give us. So it was really interesting to see her relationships with her sister unfold. But one thing I will say, I like how Toni still remained Toni on the show. She didn't act out of character to me, and always seemed to be the level of peace, and all the sisters kind of respected her. So now Tamar, that's a whole different story. We had the oh no she didn't.com, or you know, she tried it.org. At first it was cute and entertaining, but after a while it just got to be too much, and that's just my personal opinion. Toni, for whatever reason, the press gives J-Lo credit for her ultimate, what was it? I think Versace dress that she wore to the Grammys. But let's make one thing clear. Toni was the first of her era that started that look, that, you know, the barely there type of look, that sexy type of look, the performing in little undergarment panty things, you know? Toni started that in her era. You know, Beyonce still performs in her onesie to this day, and so does the other female singers. So, but we cannot not give credit to where it's due, because Little Miss Petite Toni B was literally the first one to do that. But for whatever reason, everybody wants to talk about J-Lo's dress. Stay tuned for that. We'll be doing that this week with J-Lo and her revolving door of marriages. I just find that to be, I just don't understand. But ooh, don't get me started on that mess. But Braxton Family Values was on for 7 seasons. Tamar Braxton had feuds with literally every sister on the show. As the seasons went on, Tamar behavior, to me, started to just get worse. I remember the scene on the Braxton Family Values in which Trina was proposed to on her birthday. The way that she acted was disgusting to me. Personally, I would not care if my sister got engaged on my birthday dinner. I will forever associate that day with the day that my sister found the love of her life. I would be happy. That's just me. I learned that not everyone's like that, which is crazy to me. But Tamar, to me, appeared to get this little diva attitude. People are starting to know her more. Then she starts working on her solo project, which was great marketing on Vince's behalf because she married Vince Herbert, who was also Tony's manager. That also became messy. Tony had to let that go because, conflict of interest, but Tamar married him. To this day, I don't know if it was really truly love or what, but only Tamar knows that. But in the show, Tamar gets this diva attitude from the show. She then gets the gig as a co-host on The Real. She starts shooting her spinoff, Tamar and Vince. Her career really took off all four of the Braxton family values, all four. The fact that it was Tony Braxton, we got to give credit to where it's due, but it seemed like Tamar got big-headed with that. Tamar started publicly feuding with her sisters. I remember Tracy Braxton, who they recently lost. Rest in peace to Tracy Braxton. Condolences to her children. Things of that nature. But Tracy dropped her single. What does Tamar do? Tamar goes online and kind of criticizes her vocals and doesn't support her sister's single. It was just really ugly. She unfollowed Tracy. She unfollowed her own nephew. It was just ugly to me. And again, selfish, immature behavior. Granted, it seemed like Tamar had a change of heart because this is a time when things started to unravel for her. She publicly apologized to her sister, which was great. She was let go from her show on The Real. Now, we'll never know what happened truly. Me personally, I felt that she brought too much ghetto to the show. Tamar did not know when to tone it down. They would ask a generic question and somehow Tamar would resort it back to herself. She would comment on how cute she wore. She stayed cute. It was just too much for me. She was let go, and instead of actually being open and honest about how she might have contributed to it, she then in return blasted all of her co-hosts. Adrian, Tamara, Jeannie, Lonnie Love, which she really had it out for. It was just really ugly. And again, another public dispute that Tamar has had. So maybe all of this took a toll. She said that after losing her show to The Real, she fell into depression. There was a suicide attempt on one of her almost final episodes on The View. She began to cry hysterically because she was being bullied online, allegedly. She stated that people like K. Michelle and Chris Brown stated that she looked like a Muppet and how hard that was for her. That trickled down into her show, Tamar and Vince, in which you really got to see how annoyed Vince looked at times when it came to Tamar speaking and being extra. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I sense a man that was really annoyed sometimes with a lot of her behavior, some of the things she said and how loud that she would be. But again, all of this came to a head. Bullying, she was against it, no bullying. Then the suicide attempt in which she was rushed to the hospital. She took pills, allegedly. Well, she did. We're not going to say that because she admitted it. Her son was at the home. Her new boyfriend, because keep in mind, Tamar and Vince divorced, David Adafeso, is the one who saved her, allegedly, because she goes on this post of thanking him for saving her life, etc. Now, she blamed all of this on her time on the show, the network, and all of this was overwhelming. She then went on another campaign on the Wendy Williams show in which she shaved her head, stating it was free, and she came out in her Spanx. Again, behavior seemed questionable. She then stated that she was molested from people on both sides of her family, so much so that it shocked her sister and her mother with those claims. I guess it just seemed like they didn't know about it. Tawanda made a very blanket statement such as, if she wants to tell her truth. Anytime someone tells to me, whenever I hear someone, well, that's their truth, to me, it makes me want to say that they want to call that person a liar. You know what I'm saying? But that's just me. But nonetheless, everything starts to spiral. And so much so that once Tamar got out of that, I would have thought to see different behavior from her. But fast forward present day, Tamar has recently gotten into it with Kandi Burruss. She stated that Todd, her husband, approached her in a manner. Tamar inserted herself in a beef that Kandi had with someone that had nothing to do with Tamar. That, again, her own fault. She then went on to state that Kandi couldn't sing, went on these long posts and rants about Kandi, and just ugly. And now she's engaged to J.R. Robinson, who has 5 kids with 4 different women, and as of recently has gotten into it with one of his baby mamas. So to me, I don't know, with Tamar, I was very excited when she stated that she was maturing and elevating and being as though she's gone through the loss of her sister. Now not on the show, not married to Vince, etc. I expected more from her, but unfortunately, I'm seeing the same behavior that she never took accountability for. It's always someone else's fault. That's my opinion. Until next time.